Product branding, nobody ever thinks about it, especially in the high-tech world. I started also, your name again is? Kirti. Thank you, Kirti, for the lead in on authentic marketing, because this has to do with it. So let's get to it. It's going to be quick, because I want to get to here's some questions. Does it drive sales? How much does it cost? What are the intangibles? What do you have and more? So here's a little bit of ego boosting. I've done a lot of branding, but I didn't start out that way. I'm an electrical engineer. I wanted to design products. I found out something when I was a little baby. I called people names that they didn't know they were. I named my grandfather Belingo. No idea. Everyone called him Belingo. I didn't even know what it meant. He said, I don't know, you called me that when you were a kid, and everyone calls you that. So I was a natural brander. I think I was trying to say abuelo, and I couldn't say it because it's dyslexic. Oh, I could go this way. Okay, what is a brand? This is the one that's kind of interesting. That's what it originally was. You would brand a criminal's face with a hot iron. That's where branding started. It's come a long way, baby. Now, it literally means to burn now. This way. So, oops, I went too far. So, here is the really boring definition of a brand. It's really long. Ogilvy has one, the intangible sum of products, its name, yada, yada, yada. I like doing quotes, so I changed it to, what is a brand? It's what speaks when you're not there to speak for it. It's also your reputation. It's what people are talking behind your back, and you hopefully are talking good. So, what's the difference between these two?
Whether or not you're alive.
No, it's the same thing. One got passed and the other one didn't. Does everybody get an inheritance? No. But does everybody die? Yes. Which one do we want to get rid of? Death. And that's how it got. It changed, so there's a different thing, but nothing is different between them except branding. So, with that, brands always speak to your gut, never to your head. You never, ever make a decision by how you think. You always make a decision by how you feel. Always, always, always. No matter what you're thinking, you always say, I feel like doing that. So that's what brands speak to, good brands. So, case in point. Which one of these is most expensive? Oh, wait a second. Somebody, who gave, do you want a pen or a flashlight? You participated. There you go. So they're nice flashlights, by the way. So which one of these is most expensive? Yeah, that's pretty easy. It's pretty obvious, right? $200 a gallon. Next one's Perrier. Next one's this. Now, that's super simple. Now, which one tastes the best? This is going to shock you. It was the city of Los Angeles water. It was number one. Perrier was 15 out of 16. The Link one was mid. So branding could hide a lot of warts, as they say. So why is branding important? And I like to talk about, you were talking about authentic marketing. I call it viral marketing. And viral marketing is people want to talk about you and want you to be successful. So for startups and small products, this is how they get. Nike wasn't always Nike. FedEx wasn't FedEx. Actually, the story of FedEx, the guy had to go to Las Vegas to pay for payroll was his last $5,000. It took a while to get there. So to help do this is good branding will help your product because, and I'll show you how it does it. So it's like, if you have passion, you could recruit people without hiring them. You could get, we call them evangelists. The old word used to be that. But so here's a viral example. And I think you know this one. Hope and change. A relatively unknown became president. Great branding. I don't care how you feel about the person, phenomenal branding. Here's another one. Green. Green was a big deal, and I did this like 12 years ago. Everything was green, 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 green. Worn out thing. So we wanted to do something. They wanted to be known as something different. So now you're an ultravert. introvert and ultravert, right? Super simple. So you're ultra green, right? So uses green without green. It's unique. It has a double meaning. It could go viral. This is all the bad things about it. It's unfocused, lack of clear meaning. So they changed it. And so the weird thing about this is that, they were trying to get somebody to do it, and the pricing mine was lower, and I did it quicker. So what do you think this is? What kind of company do you think it is? This is a framing exercise. Space? Close? Close. Now what do you think it is? Huh? Oh God, I did a good job. It's it's a gas pipeline company. And I gotta tell you something. I did this, we had an exercise, and I did this brand. It took me 10 minutes to figure out what they want, because they wanted not to be considered anti-green. And gas, natural gas is considered cleaner than oil. So they said, ooh, from the earth, for the earth. It's the earth, and it's all future. So this cost them $500,000 to do. I did it in 5 minutes. But I was working for another company. That's why I don't work for other companies anymore. So here's the big thing. Do not be average. Nobody remembers average in anything you do. Either be god-awfully bad or super good, but do not be in the middle. The moldy middle is death. So that's another one of my quotes, differentiate or die. Jedi mind tricks in branding. I used to work for a company called Harris Semiconductor. It's now back to Intercell. And they developed a DSP, digital signal processing, hardwired aspect of it. So they were the only ones that did it. Texas Instruments was the 800-pound gorilla. Texas Instruments was the 800-pound gorilla. And so what I did was create a category that I knew we could be number one in, hardwired DSP. We were the only ones, but we were number one. So our name got associated with Texas Instruments' name all the time. Do that if you can. The other thing is Prism chipset. This is where I found out I was really good at branding. It literally means personal radio for the ISM band, which was the front end of, matter of fact, all your digital phones, which I helped create the first digital phones, but that became the number one chipset of Intercell. So great brand, everybody understood it. And then focus is important, and do one thing. Everybody does one thing better than anybody else. Everybody. I don't know what it is, but you all do it. Oh, someone else answered questions. I keep forgetting to give swag out. So do that one thing. I don't know what it is. Everybody has it. Oops. Okay, elements of branding. One of these things, colors is important. And colors are important is like, okay, black. Black in healthcare is death. Black in luxury is luxury. So the same color has two distinctly different meanings depending on who you're trying to sell to. Imagery is the other things like, a lion or a whale or a monkey or a kitty cat. They all mean something to somebody depending on who your audience. So you got to know your audience. Words are important. Remember the Exterin thing, from the earth, for the earth. So the words that you use to describe a brand is also important. And fonts. Look at FedEx. They have that little arrow. You know how the arrow is in there? They didn't have that originally. Colors, geometric shapes, stars, circles, lines, swooshes. It's a shape. Probably the most famous shape. The Coca-Cola band, all those are pretty good. So, what makes a great brand? Small, viral, easy to remember. You gotta. When someone once, where's Tom? Tom said about keeping it simple, keeping it short. You got to do that with brand. The shorter you can convey something like a bite size. Everybody tries to sell the whole cow, and some people are good at selling a steak. You really just want to sell a bite of steak if you can, because it's easy to convey again and again. That's how the viral aspect of it works. So I want to get to the branding exercise, because incredibly, brand is super expensive. When United changed their logo, with the stupid U's, and the worst one's American now. Why? They spent $5.5 million changing that brand. What did it get them? Any more sales? No. It didn't. So part of what I want to do is, does anybody have a product or service that they want to name or put some things out there? And if you do, you get swag. Who answered questions? Someone was answering questions. Oh, do you want a pen or a I don't know who's going to have flashlights. The pens are nice, though. They're metal and they're thin for ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you answer a question? Are you?
The Blink one. You have the brand.
Okay. Does anybody want to? Let's do an exercise. Let's do an exercise. Come on. These things are worth money. I'm going to give it to you for free. Does anybody have a product they want to do? Yes. What? Oh, you're really? Nobody's making anything? Okay. You have a product? Let's go.
So my product is kind of a do-it-yourself rear-end car accident thing.
To fix it. To fix it.
Yeah, save yourself a little money on insurance,
Okay.
assuming the other party's happy
Okay.
with that idea. Brand name I have is Rear Ends Are Us.
Yeah. You know they're going to change the name of the planet Uranus, right? They're going to call it Eurectum. I'm here all week, don't worry about it. So a rear end fix it, right? So like something like you got saggy buns or a saggy bumper or dents in your... So you got to come... Who you're trying to sell to?
I'm selling to people who
Do it yourself.
do a rear-end car accident and want to settle without insurance.
Oh, it's not fixing the rear end. It's when you get into an accident that you want to sell between the two people. So it's not about rear ends, it's about accidents.
It's a car's rear ends, it's not your rear end.
But it could be, is it only just rear ends or could it be side, any type of accident?
Only rear ends.
I'm not even gonna say out loud what the first thing came to my mind. Don't take it in the rear. Essentially, that's what it is, right? You don't want to get fouling, screwed, stuff like that. So you want to settle, right? So bad bumps shouldn't cost a lot. So what you have to start doing is saying, what are the words that you want to use? What are associated with collisions, right? Bumps, bumper, rear ends. What's another word for rear? Ass, can, bum. So how much are you going to sell this for? Is it going to be like $9.99 per use or something like that?
$100.
I'm going to ask a whole bunch of questions here because it's also, we're getting into a business plan. How big is this market?
I think there's about 30,000 rear-end car accidents in Austin alone
In a year?
in the year.
Oh, wow. This is a tough one because it's really not a product per se. It's more of a solution that allows people to negotiate their bump and grind. Oh no. Bump and grind, right? No, so it's, bump in something, right? Because bump and grind is a well-received name. So it'd be bump and something. Bump and save, bump and solve, bump and, that's how you do it. You try to say things that are familiar, that you already know in a brand, and then you do it. So it's going to be, I got to think a little bit more. This,
Make it a mutual hit and run. Like you agree that you're not going to call the cops,
yeah.
you're just going to settle it.
Yeah. So you're gonna. That's excellent. So it's gonna be like easy breezy, bright and squeezy. Bump and go. Bump and go. There you go. Bump and go. Bumper cars. Bump and save and bump and funk. Yeah. Oh, bump and pump. That sounds a little too sexy for me. Yeah. Huh? Bumping ends? Huh? Bumping ends? Oh, bumping ends. Oh, so you bump and it ends, but it's more like a bump in pay. No, that sounds like prostitution. Oh boy, the police will be after you. That's an interesting one, but I think something with bump is going to be it. But you also want pay, right? So it's like a solution. It's like you're almost bartering. Because you're saying to yourself, hey, look, I don't want to call the insurance company. I'll give you my payment information, And that's what it is, right? You're gonna say, hey, take it to a shop and just forward me the bill, and I'm good for it. So there's a whole bunch of back end stuff so I'm good for it.
Good for it.
There it is. I'm good for it. Just had success. By the way, that would have cost you $250,000. Excellent. That's another good one. Okay, and the next thing after branding that you do this is market research. And it doesn't matter what I think about it. We got your back is good. That's excellent, by the way. That is really good. You get two things. You get a flashlight and a pen. That's a really good brand. See, and that's the other thing, I'm not pro-girl. I mean, good branding, here's the problem with branding. Everybody can do it, but not everybody can do it well. So if you come up with a good idea, ask a bunch of friends what they think. What does this mean? You know? So branding is super important for everything you do, even in your life. Be known for something. So my nickname was the Prophet. I'm really good at saving money and making money. I am not Jewish, but I play one on television. I'm Scottish. So that's but that's it. So I've been known to be that. Making money, profit. I go by that. Someone stole it doing that, but that's okay. Yes, do you have a question? Anybody have any questions? Are you energized? Are you gonna do some branding? It's that simple. It really, but if you get a brand, ask a bunch of friends what they think it means. Remember, keep it short and sweet, which you did. Yes?
Do you have a good place to test your branding?
Well, there are places online now that will do market research for you, and it could go anywhere from like $500 to $10,000. And it depends, that's another total thing about how to do market research on a brand. Most of it you're gonna know. If you talk to 25 people and 20 of them get it right away, you probably have a good brand. If you talk to 25 people and only one of them get it, it's your ego, right? Don't.
Is there any like a Facebook group or community group that
You can put it on
specialize
Facebook and do a questionnaire, right? So they allow that on Twitter and Facebook that you could do what they call it, a survey, right? You could do a vote.
I see.
That's free. Say, hey, I have this brand, this logo. Tell me which one you like best. Here's A, B, C, and D. Here's the names. People will vote on it.
I see.
That's free. And people love to give their opinion. Believe me. So, yeah.
I know people love to give opinion. I know
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Would you?
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You got my last swag.
This is probably on everybody's mind, but Twitter rebranded to X. And so do you think there's some kind of hidden kind of motive somewhere that we are not seeing today?
Well, X means nothing. I mean, literally, Malcolm X, the reason why he picked X, because he had to name himself. And my middle initial is X, because I don't have one. So X means everything or nothing. So in a weird way, it's kind of metaphysical, the way he wants to be the everything app. And that, I'm still up in the air about it because, X is X. My X is X. Yes?
So we talked today about how decisions are often made with an emotional
Yes.
aspect in them,
Yes.
or completely driven by emotion.
Yes.
So when you're looking at branding, the emotional spectrum is negative and positive.
Yes.
So what do you see as more successful on that spectrum?
It
Should
is-
brands focus? Do you see more success with branding on more positive emotions or
It
more
is
security?
so much harder to brand on positive emotions. So General Electric did a survey like 20 years ago. And they talked about how effective a complimentary review is and how effective a negative review is. For every complimentary review, they got 3 more sales. For every negative review, they lost 11. So at that moment, they opened up their 24-hour service hotline because they want to know negative brands kill you. I can mention a beer company that has happened to. It will kill you. Don't make your brands negative because it's irrational. And when you feel hate or fear or disgust for something, you just won't buy it. You don't ever want to get there. So it takes forever to have a great brand, and and someone else says you could lose it in minutes. It's insane how people do not value that brand that they've built up 175 years. And it's because the people that owned it originally don't understand what happened to it in the beginning. They lose sight of what that brand really means. I mean, I'm going to tell you another brand that was Disney. Disney is a family brand. They're related to families, keeping families together. When you go away from that brand, people don't recognize it anymore. And they just lost all that brand capital. It's pitiful. It's sad. Call it another name. Do whatever you want to do. But don't use that name for whatever you want to do. It should be a new brand. Keep that brand. If it's a successful brand, keep it and use it. And, I'm going to give you an example. The reason why I named this company the way that I named this company is because things that are old and precious are called keepsakes. And what everybody wants for their moms and dad is to have them keep safe. So it's a play on words. It was super easy, but it's memorable, right? People actually say keepsake, keep safe. Oh, it was one of those things. So, I'm not promoting it, but it's that brand that is easy to remember. And, everyone likes guardian angels. As I like to say, irrespective of how you feel about a God or not, I like to believe there are angels.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
go into New Coke versus Classic.
Oh, don't get me go into that. They should have called it, crystal meth or something, whatever. That's horrible, but no. So, any other questions? Was it fun? Did you have a good time? Somebody got that. Tell him. You pay that man a dinner.
I'll give you my bid.
But that was good. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Remember, branding's super important no matter what you do. If it's yourself, if it's your product, if it's your company, if it's your team. Great names carry a lot. As they say, give a dog a good name. So if you have a dog, give it a good name. So thank you, guys.